Thanks very much. Well, as we just heard, the program of the events there at the convention expected to not be changed. But as Congresswoman Green said, the tone most certainly will be different. The atmosphere, the security as we head into this convention, which starts tomorrow in Milwaukee.
And there, former President Trump is expected to be nominated again to run for the White House. The big question is who will run with him. Trump has floated several possible vice president picks. An official announcement is expected sometime between today and Wednesday. 3 possible VP selections all issued statements on social media after that shooting yesterday, including Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, who wrote, "Everybody join me in praying for our President Trump and everyone at that rally. I hope everyone is okay." South Carolina Senator Tim Scott wrote, "Praying for President Trump and everyone at the rally in Pennsylvania. May God watch over them all." And Florida Senator Marco Rubio posted, "Praying for President Trump and all those attending the rally in Pennsylvania today."
Well, Mr. Trump is scheduled to speak on Thursday night at the convention, and we asked a political analyst what he will try to do and what kind of message he'll try to send.
What you want is a 4-day steady crescendo to the last day where your candidate takes the stage, blows the roof off of whatever venue you're in. The party activists are losing their minds. The media is talking about your agenda, and you are sucking up all the oxygen out of the media cycle. That's what you want.
But of course, now everything is slightly different. So we'll see how it plays out. Of course, we'll have special coverage every day of the Republican National Convention that once again starts tomorrow. Tune into Atlanta News First from 11 to 11:30 Monday through Friday, streaming on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and YouTube.
We have much more reaction and coverage from the attempted assassination of former President Trump right now on AtlantaNewsFirst.com and in our free news app.